Alright, so we're re-streaming on YouTube. Alright, so I'm live streaming on YouTube. And I was trying to live stream on 3 different platforms. But I think the only way you can do that is if you use like a third-party app. And so I am using a third-party app right now, but I'm only streaming to YouTube right now. And just going to be bank fishing this pond. It's not even a pond, this is a lake. We're going to be bank fishing this lake, and I'm trying out a few different baits, a few different rods, and trying to figure out a couple things about these setups. So for instance, I got 4 rods with me, and 2 of them I'm going to be fishing spinner baits on. So I want to see how well these work with spinner baits. That sucker's heavy. My heavier spinner bait. So just chucking around this spinner bait, trying to see if it works well with this rod, since my old spinner bait rod broke. I haven't really tested this out. This has a lot of give to it, so see how well it works for the spinner bait. So I brought 2 rods with me that I want to test on the spinner bait, and the other rod I chucked out there and I got hit second cast and didn't land the fish, so it might be a little too stiff. And this, so we'll chuck it around, figure out what's what. Not a lot of ripples on the water, but there's enough. I'm more worried that there's not a big enough bass that's going to bite it. Last time I was fishing here, I caught like 10 bass. They were all small, but there's about 5 other people here fishing. And one guy, he also caught a small one, and another guy caught like a 5-pounder. So there is some big bass here. But you can see this is, I think this is a 1/2 ounce. And then I have, it might even be more. Profile right there. I have another one with me that's smaller. I have a 3/8 with a little easy on it. So I'm going to try out both. If one of those 5-pounders hits this, we'll find out how well it works or not. Actually, sometimes the better test is the smaller fish, because you know, sometimes a big old, you know, 5+ pounder hit your bait and go the other way with it, and you know, they have such power that they set the hook on themselves. You know, so sometimes, you know, you catch a dink on something and that's the true test. But hopefully we'll catch a few fish to see how well this rod works. But I got 3 other rods also to chuck around, so we're gonna definitely do a little of everything right now. And I have 1 rod for that, assuming that this line is okay, because there are 2 of these rods, I'm not sure about the line on here. And just gotta find the stick baits. Alright, so we got a bag full of baits. Let's find our stick baits. Nope. Nope. Got too many baits in here. Nope. Yep, there we go. Alright. Alright, so we got Gambler Fad Ace, 6-inch river bug color. So, kind of like a June bug color, the old river bug. And, you know, this is one of those colors that will work well in Florida. And we are in Florida. In case anyone's curious that's watching, we are in Florida. So, I really came out here to test other baits and other rods than this one, but I do need to test the line on this one because I have a tournament coming up. I want to make sure everything's working right. Yep, the line is messed up. Remember what was wrong with the line? I was like, I think the line's not good. Yeah, that's not good. So yeah, okay, I gotta tie this line when I get home, so we'll throw one of the other rods out there. I still think a stick bait's the move though, so we're gonna throw this stick bait on my other one. But I couldn't remember if the line was messed up on this. I thought it was, but I couldn't quite remember. Now we remember. So got this puppy right here. Take that off. Drop it down in the baits bucket we got with us. Retie this bad boy. I actually think I'm gonna dip a little garlic on this bad boy because it is tough out here. Now these Gambler baits, they come with a little bit of garlic, but we're gonna put a little bit more on there. And the only one I have with me is the Spike It Dip and Glow, which is actually going to change it a little bit more chartreuse, a little bit more green. But it's all good. That would just give it more of a bluegill color and works well in stained water anyways. Alright, so the line on this one is fine. Had to test these out to make sure. I need to change the line on that one, and we still got to test out those two spinner baits. It's a grind out here fishing in the middle of the day. Out here. Oh, people were commenting. I couldn't see. Catch anything today? No, haven't been fishing that long. Got a couple little bites. I had a second cast on a spinner bait right up in front of the bank. A little one came up and just nibbled at it. And then I had, I was letting a ribbon tail sit there and had a couple little bites. It was just machine gunning me, just biting it really subtle. We've been throwing moving baits, trying to get a little bit quicker of a bite, but it's the middle of the day. And this is like dog days of summer type of fishing right now. So we got to fish slower. Do you catch anything today? So yeah, same question. Yeah, nope, not yet. Last time I was fishing this spot though, fished for a couple hours and caught about 10 bass right here. So nice little small lake. Definitely got some in here. But last time I was fishing, I'll show you exactly what I did, and this might be how we have to catch them today. It's kind of boring. Is chucking it out there like that, right? And I got a stick bait tied on. And I let it sit. Really exciting stuff. I'll reel in the slack so I can feel the bite, but just kind of letting it hang out there. So first things first. Whoop. I didn't feel anything, but oh, maybe I got something. No. So I just saw a splash right next to my bait, and that's why I was like, wait. What was I saying? I got squirreled by that fish. squirrel. So yeah, we're just letting this sit. This is really, it's really boring, to be honest, but it's how you catch them right now. And actually, if I move this camera around, y'all can probably see me better. I'm gonna try to bring this in a little quicker, give it a couple wiggles. And definitely feel that grass in there. Sometimes when you rip it out of this grass, you just need to let it fall, let it sit there, and a bass will have seen it and come over and grab your bait. But not right now. Alright, so nothing yet. Last time I was here, we were catching them though. It was also a little later in the day. This is kind of a tough time of day to be fishing in this heat. But honestly, if I didn't have a couple rods I needed to test out, right now I would be fishing this stick bait, which we are fishing, but I would have been fishing this the entire time. It's just a grind right now in this Florida heat. But try to show you how to catch them in the Florida heat. Right now, we got water's moving this way, current, I should say, just a little wind on the water moving. Those ripples are going to make it a little harder for the bass to see, but we got like 3 feet visibility in here, so that actually can be a good thing. Make those bass a little bit you know, they can't quite tell that a lure is fake. So sometimes you want to throw moving baits because you can trick them right now, but at the same time we were just throwing moving baits, so we already tried that. Now we need to say, all right, it's hot out here, we're probably fishing on the bottom, you know, where's a deep spot? That'd be a good place to be. Where's a bunch of vegetation where they can be up in the shade? So those are kind of the 2 areas that me personally, that's what I'm a target in this kind of situation right here. But I don't know the depths of this lake. This is a, you know, a small man-made lake, and I don't know if there's a map anywhere showing the contours of this place. Maybe one day I'll come out here in the kayak, you know, and we'll find out. You know, I'll bring the fish finder and we'll find out. But I don't know where the deep spots are. I know it gets really shallow over there, and everywhere else though there's grass. You can't tell because it's not topped out, it's not emerged, but it's submerged. So, you know, 6 inches right beneath the surface, there's patches of hydrilla and just different vegetation. So there's grass everywhere. So really, because I don't know where the depths are, my strategy for fishing in this heat right now is just to kind of fan cast, make casts kind of everywhere, and work this stick bait slow, rip it through that grass a little bit here and there, let it fall after I rip it into the grass, and make sure I'm feeling, I got enough tension on my line to feel when I do get a bite that we can make sure he's still on there, and then if he is, set the hook like he owes you money, you know what I mean? And so that's just kind of a simple little strategy. Last time I was out here, I was killing it. I mean, 10 bass, couple hours from the bank. It wasn't bad, especially considering there's 5 other people out here, and the other 5 people caught a total of 2 fish. So, and I caught 10, so, you know, I was feeling kind of confident, but I was the only one fishing a stick bait. And, you know, that's just how it is. Sometimes, oh, something moved right there. So something moved while I was talking, but I think it moved. My bait was kind of near it. So at first I thought it moved because of me, but then I seen there was a dragonfly that just flew by right there. So I actually think the movement was because of that dragonfly. Dude, there's panfish everywhere in here. There's plenty of bait. So we got to try and pay attention to whenever we see something move, whether it's just, you know, a little panfish acting like a big fish, or if it's actually a bass. But I don't hesitate to, when I see something move, to cast at it. Like right here, we're right next to some reeds. If I see one of these reeds ticking, I'm casting at that every single time. It might be, you know, a catfish or a pleco or even a tilapia. It might not be a bass, but when you see those reeds ticking, there's something there. And sometimes when you're on the water, you can kind of tell when it is those like armored catfish. They're plecos, really. I mean, but you can kind of tell because they'll be on like one, and it'll just, the one will be ticking, and then other times you can see there's like 4 or 5 of them that are just moving, and that's that. In the past, that's when I'll cast at that and I'll catch a bass there. And the other times I'm like, there's one right there. I see the thing ticking. I see the thing ticking. I keep casting at it. I'm like, man, I can't get this dang bass to bite. So I'll come up to it in the kayak and I'll see its dang pleco, and I'm like, son of a gun. So sometimes you can tell the difference, but usually I've also had it where I saw just one of the reeds moving, and I cast at it and it ended up being a bass. So you never know. I always just cast just in case. And it was probably about 10 months ago, I made a video where I think it was the video where I caught over 100 inches of bass. My 5 best bass were over 100 inches, which is pretty dang good. You know, in most tournaments, if you catch 100 inches of bass and 5 fish, you won that tournament. Most tournaments. And I had this one tournament where I, something just hit out there. I had this one tournament where, I think it was that video, I was cruising in the kayak and I saw a wake back behind me. So when I cruised through there, I moved some bait fish around, and then there was a bass that started eating the bait fish, and I just saw one quick poof, right? And I looked back and I just grabbed my rod. While I was cruising, I stopped cruising, but I was still moving. I chucked it back behind me. It was like, I don't know, square bill or something. And I ended up catching a giant bass. So if you see something moving in the water, don't be afraid to cast at it. I know plenty of anglers that are good anglers that they see something moving, they're like, oh, that's a gar, oh, that's a pleco, oh, that's a tilapia. If you can tell the difference, then yeah, don't cast at that. But if you can't tell the difference, I've caught some good ones when I've casted at something like that. So don't be afraid to cast at something when you see it moving in the water. For some reason, some people just don't do it. I'm a very visual person though. If I see a reed moving, I'm casting at it. If I see a little splash because a fish is trying to hit a dragonfly, I'm casting at it. You know, if I see just wakes on the water, not wakes, but wind just putting ripples on the water, and I see a little bit of a different ripple because of a swirl, something moved high in the water column, I'm casting at it. You know, like all those little things. You know, and I'm probably forgetting some, but there's, you can see stuff sometimes. I use my eyeballs as much as I can when I'm fishing. Man, it is tough out here. Where are these fish at? Somebody trying to tell me where these fish are? Something just moved right in front of me. Just talking about stuff being in front of you. I'm seeing some slight ripples out there. May not be bass, maybe turtles, could be anything. But since right now we don't really know where these fish are, we might as well cast there. So before I move spots, if I go that way, I don't know. I don't really, last time I was here, I didn't catch anything over there. Caught like 10 bass here, and I didn't catch anything over there. So, and there's other people fishing over there that didn't catch anything either. So I don't know. May not waste my time over there. But I might go this way. But it gets shallow down over there. So usually in this heat, I would not want to fish the shallow area of the lake. But that shallow area is mostly choked out in vegetation. So it, you know, they can be up in that grass and it'd be a lot cooler than you think. So, you know, it's shady up underneath that stuff. So I don't know. Maybe we'll work our way to the shadow, to the shadows, the shade, the shallow, shady area, the shadows. Shallow shade. Call that the shadows. Bro, I'm not getting bit on a stick bait. That's crazy. We're just not in the right spot. There's something moving right in front of those reeds. I'm just gonna let this stick bait sit. And I was just talking about how I use my eyes a lot. Right now I'm watching my line. See if my line moves. Pretty common way of fishing, you know, soft plastics, but not everyone does it. So I figured I'd talk about what I'm doing. Might help some of y'all. My hook still in there? Yep. Skin hooked, but yeah. Alright, let's walk down the bank and try and catch a fish. In the heat of the day. Oh, there's bait fish moving right there. Y'all see that? I don't know if y'all can see that, dude. There's a bait fish jumping out of the water and something, little bass right there just tried to grab it. Ooh. Dude, we just left this area and then they're biting over here. Watch, we're gonna get over there and they're gonna be biting back over here where we just left. That's a bite. That's a bite. Got him. What was I talking about? This things that are moving in the water. It will help you a lot when you can't figure out where these fish are. I wonder if, oh, something just hit right there. Okay, so we just got cloud coverage like just now, and then sometimes when all of a sudden you get cloud coverage, these bass will decide to feed. And so they've been not biting, and then all of a sudden here's one that just shows up. So nice little bass, not a giant, but yeah. Sup, Kurt. Well, I'm not Kurt, but there is a Kurt in the chat, I think. But yeah, we got one. All right, so there is a fish, and that one right there, just saw him chasing a bait fish. Cast it at him, let it sit, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Then you just got to make sure they're really on there. It's real easy to set the hook too soon, you know, because I had him on there for 5-10 seconds before I actually set the hook. If y'all noticed, you know, I made sure he was on there, because once you set that hook, you pull that bait away from them. So, but that one we hooked up with that one, just tossed him back, and now the sun's back out. All right, well, the second we got cloud coverage, we caught that one bass. Hopefully we'll still catch him, even though it just got bright as heck out here. My best guess is the reason that that bass just decided to start feeding is because these panfish and baitfish have been right out here this whole time. There's like a ton of baitfish up on this bank around this grass, because there's like hydrilla up to like 5 yards out from the bank. It's like almost submerged, or it is submerged, almost topped out, almost emerged. And no, just caught, you just saw the one I caught. I think you saw it. You said, you catching anything big today? Nope, not yet. But this is a nice little lake right here. I've only been here a couple times. I was here just the other day. I caught like 10 small bass here, so it wasn't bad. And then there was about 5 other people here, and one of them caught a 5-pounder. So there is big bass in here. I mean, it's Florida. There's big bass in here. Jeez, I'm standing in the dang quicksand here. All right, let's move over here to this corner. I think we might get some more bites over here. All right, let's try a few casts right here. So you just caught that one. Oh, I got bubbles right next to my bait. I hope it's not a turtle. That's a lot of bubbles. I'm gonna recast this. I don't want to hook up with a turtle. That would not be good. I did not bring any pliers, even though I brought a bunch of stuff with me. Wasn't planning on fishing treble hooks, so I didn't bring any pliers. Man, I gotta start bringing pliers in case I catch a turtle. Man, so I've been out here a little bit now. We just caught the first fish that we caught, but it also just started coming alive. You're seeing movement, little pecks on the top of the water across the whole lake. So all of a sudden we got some life going on out here. So that's really good. It's been dead calm out here, and we haven't been able to get any bites. So all of a sudden, oh, got bit right here, right now. Oh, he let go. Oh, he bit it twice and let go. No way. Did he get it again? No. Bro, took it off the hook. Sucker. Yeah, he's poof, poof. Bit it twice real quick. I saw a little ripple there, so I tossed it. There's a lot of small bass in here, but there are big ones. We are in Florida, in case anyone's curious. There is big ones in here. Florida, even if you have a man-made lake, I think this is a man-made lake. Like this area is, there's tons of ponds around here. It used to be swamps. They build neighborhoods, the swamps become ponds or lakes, and this is actually a lake. So this probably was a lake or a deeper part of the swamp, you know, before they built the neighborhoods. And these neighborhoods aren't like just built. These have been around for years. And in Florida, I'd say you could have a 7-pounder after like, I don't know, 3-4 years. You know, a bass could grow big enough in Florida because they grow quicker down here. They have faster metabolisms because of the heat. So they grow quicker, and they have shorter lives. So because they grow quicker, they don't live as long. But in about 3 or 4 years, you can have a 7-8 pounder in a new lake. And so this has been around a lot longer than that. So there's bass in here that are probably 10 plus pounds. So the thing is, can we catch those big ones? That's the thing. So far we've only caught small, but sometimes you you know, catch the small ones, weed through the small ones before you catch a big one. And right now, all of a sudden, we're getting there's little signs of life on the water, so I'm hoping the bite's about to get good. Oh, is that a bite? Something checking my bait out right now. Oh, dude, something just came out the water hitting something right there. Something just tried to hit a dragonfly. Bass came out the water. I don't know how big it was. Got it. Got him. Got him. Feels good. Oh, he got grass on him. He felt bigger than that. So he had a patch of hydrilla stuck around his mouth. He shook it off. He jumped, but for a second there, he felt big. But yeah, we're getting nibbled to death by these guys right now. So good to hook up with one, or that's the second one. All of a sudden they started biting. So we got a little bit of cloud coverage. All of a sudden these bass have come alive. Here in Oklahoma, we have some big bass and even bigger catfish. I've never been really catfish fishing. I hooked up with a giant up in Maryland. I was going down a river and I came to this bend in the river, and it was like a deep hole there. It was the deepest spot on this whole river. And my guess was, it might have been summer. My guess was the water levels were low. So this was like the deepest hole in the whole place. You know, I was in a canoe. I was actually with my mom. This is when I was younger. And my mom was freaking out. This thing was a giant. I mean, I don't know what the weight of it was, but I've caught bass that are huge, and this was in a whole nother league. It had my rod completely bent over, and we were doing everything we can so the canoe didn't tip over. That sucker was underneath me. It took me forever to horse that big old catfish up. I finally got him right underneath the canoe, had my rod completely bent over, and I was just, as soon as I had him coming up from underneath the front of the canoe, line snapped. I didn't catch him. That was the biggest catfish. Actually, that's the biggest fish I ever hooked into. For all I know, that sucker was 50 pounds. That thing was huge. But that was pretty crazy, because just going down a small river, I wasn't expecting anything like that. But yeah, that gave me quite the fight, actually. But there's some bass right here right now. We might catch one of them. I just saw one move right there. Bro, it's so weird. I was talking about how there's like, someone just caught a flathead catfish 95. Jeez. Couldn't even imagine. Those people that do the, noodling, where they friggin' put their hands in the mouth. Oh, forget that. Things, maybe when I was younger, if I tried that now, I'd probably drown. If I hooked in, got my hand in a big one, these things probably take me under and keep me there. But we got a couple anglers down the bank fishing. But what time is it? I'm just curious, because all of a sudden it's 3:50. So all of a sudden the bass are biting. It's been dead out here. Then all of a sudden I'm seeing them eat bait fish here and there. Only so many of those spots we can actually cast at. I see a lot of stuff moving down here, so I actually want to move towards the stuff that's moving. We'll walk towards them a little bit. All right, this exact spot is where I started the video today. Or actually, I had a few live streams going on at once. This is where I started one of the live streams. I don't know if y'all can tell in the video, especially where I'm pointed, but every once in a while you'll just see little swirls out here. Where's my finger? Out here in the water, you'll just see little swirls, and those are bass. You know, there's just tons of bait. I just got bit right here. Oh, see, rookie mistake. I knew he let go of it, and I still set the hook. I don't know what that was. Wanted to have another catch on camera for y'all. Too bad. Got too excited. Maybe we can get him to bite. And it shouldn't be. I have something on here that keeps it cool. There's definitely a lot of movement, man. So much movement. Kind of hoping I see something big move a little further out. Evening in Indonesia. All right, well it's about 4 o'clock here in Florida. I think my hook is out. I was stuck on some grass there for a second. No? I might have had a bite. Bro, there's so much movement out here. There's actually too much movement. I need to go back to a moving bait. As good as this is, and we'll keep catching fish if we keep fishing this stick bait, no doubt. But when they're moving this much, it's time to try something else. And I actually brought out 2 different rods that have spinner baits on them, because I want to see which is the better rod for spinner baits. And if they're chasing moving baits, we need to try to see what these spinner baits will do. I will say this, if this is the better rod for spinner baits, I need to put a different reel on here. This sucker needs to be oiled. It's so loud. Heck, I might switch to the other one just because I don't want to listen to this. But then again, now that I think about it, I got the bigger spinner bait on the other rod, so I'll try this first. Well, there's something moving right there. All right, so there's a bass feeding right here, and we're about to run our bait past it in about a few seconds here. Nothing. Now what is good about fishing these moving baits is that stick bait I gotta fish really slowly. But you see, I can just keep casting this and keep reeling, and when they're biting these, I mean, heck, in a 10-minute time period, I can have made, you know, a ton of casts on a spinner bait, whereas, you know, with a stick bait, I might be letting it sit there for a minute. So in 10 minutes, I can only make 10 casts. Where with this, you know, I can make a couple hundred casts in 10 minutes, depending on how fast I'm fishing this and how short a cast I'm making. You know, but of course, they're not always biting the moving baits. But we can see that they're chasing bait fish right now, so it makes me want to fish these. I'm gonna fish the bigger spinner bait and hopefully get a bigger bite. All right, so we got the bigger spinner bait. So it's hard for y'all to tell, but this rod has more bend in it than the other rod. So I'm curious how well this rod handles fish caught on a spinner bait. I hope this is a good rod for the spinner bait because it's a longer rod, so I can cast it further. So in situations where I gotta just like bomb a cast way out there with the spinner bait, this would be the better rod to chuck around. But at the same time, if that other rod is good also, then, you know, when I'm trying to make more short and precise casts, then I'll use that one. And when I want to use this one will be when I'm trying to chuck it a mile. I don't know. This one might just be too big of a spinner bait and too big of a trailer on the spinner bait. I don't know if there's any big bass around us right now. All right, let's go back to what works. I was hoping not to fish the stick bait all day, but that's what we're catching them on. I just casted this away from the shore a good bit, but I saw something moving. So we'll see if there's a fish there. All right, so I cast it in front of those reeds over there. All right, let's keep it moving. I'm gonna get a little closer to those reeds so I can fish those a little better. All right, so I got this right in front of the reeds way down near that point. And I'm just gonna, and hopefully if there's any bass, right in front of those reeds, they'll pick this up. Ooh, there's a bass that just came out of those reeds right there. I think he went that way. I'm about to cast over there. That was either a big bass or a small tilapia. Those tilapia will make huge wakes when they come up out of stuff. But it's pretty shallow here with the hydrilla underneath the water. So a lot of people might see that in this area, they might think, oh, that's definitely a tilapia. But because it's so shallow, it could be a bass. And so we're definitely gonna try and find out. Definitely a lot of movement out here. So we had two people fishing right here on the other side of this little reed island right here that were just fishing there. And about like 40 yards from us. And they just left, so they may not have been catching them on the other side of there. And that's where we're going to go to after this. But I don't know. If they weren't catching them there, they might not be there. It's pretty shallow on that other side. But then again, they may not. Alright, so I'm going to bury this hook because it seems to be coming out. And you can tell there's been a handful of times. We caught a couple bass on this, but there's quite a few punctures on here and stuff from, you know, other times where the bass just pecked at it and then dropped the bait. So we're getting some bites, but they're not holding on to the bait. It might be because this place gets a lot of pressure, and so they know better. Or it might mean we need to make an adjustment. But right now, it's the only thing we're getting bit on, so I'm just going to keep riding with it at the moment. So I have a small loop in my line way back there. You probably can't even tell, it's real small. But I seen something the other day where someone said if you have a loop back in your line and you keep casting, that can actually damage the line in that spot so much that you'll break off in that spot on a later date. So we just in case, we just took the line out and redid it. But I don't know if that's true, but takes a second, might as well do it. Man, this would be a good little lake to come out here in the kayak and get out there in the middle, because we're only fishing one bank on one part of this lake. Now I will say this, half this lake is choked out in vegetation, so I got a trolling motor on my kayak, so it would be a little hard to fish this lake. I could only fish this upper area out in the middle, but to be honest, I think that's where the 10-pounders are. I think that's where the giants are out there. If it's a deep spot out there, I think that's where they are. because this lake has been around long enough that there's big bass in it. I've literally never seen someone, it's a small lake, I've never seen someone in a kayak here, never seen someone in a boat here. I don't know, maybe you're not allowed to, and I don't know. But just makes me think the middle of this lake never gets fished. And the bank, you know, if depending on how long I make this video, how long I fish for, we're gonna see more people show up here. We've already seen a handful of people, and we'll see more. You know, more people will show up. So this place gets a lot of pressure on the bank. I'm definitely curious if those big ones are sitting out there. Because I mean, there's a good amount of grass in this lake. That's, oh, thought I had a bite. It's kind of hung up in the grass a little funky. But oh, there's something chasing something near my bait. Actually, no, I'm in front of it. Maybe I should recast. Yeah, I don't know. I'd hate to, you know, get in trouble to like launch my kayak, and I'm not supposed to here for some reason. I don't know. Ooh, there's definitely something near my bait. Oh, about to set the hook. Oh, there's something right here. Bro, is that a tilapia? That is a big wake. Whatever that is a big wake. I want to catch at least one more fish right here before I go down the creek a little bit, or down the bank a little bit, and fish the next spot. Saw a couple kids earlier throwing a cast net catching bait. Curious which pond they went to. Because I mean, this one there's some good fish in here, and there's a lot of fish in here. So I wonder where they're going, where they're catching the bait here and going somewhere else. Man, there's just so much fish moving around in here. All right, we're not getting bit right here, so we're gonna move down the bank to the next spot. Hopefully start catching some good ones. Ugh. So, I'm in Florida, in case anyone's new to the chat, and we're bank fishing. One thing about bank fishing in Florida, we got to watch out for gators. So that is a real thing. That is not just the internet. We really do have to watch out for them. And the last time I was here, I caught a small bass. I had it up on the bank. I was showing it to the camera, and there was a gator coming up on the bank. And I look over at the gator, and then the bass jumped and it fell down, and then the gator came at me even faster, and I just got off the bank, and he ended up eating the bass. So that is definitely something to worry about. That's the only time that's ever happened to me, though, but it does happen. All right, so this spot right here is really shallow. But we're gonna see if they're up over here. All right. It's kind of hard to explain this spot. It's like a triangle. So on that end of the triangle out in the water, there's actually, it's even shallower. So it's almost like if the water was lower, this part of the lake would be a different lake. So it's choked out up there. And so it comes up to here. I don't know if I'm explaining that the best, but it's definitely kind of a weird spot for sure. Because if I chuck it right there, we're in like 6 inches of water. If I chuck it right there, right next to it, we're in 3 feet. If I chuck it on the other side of that 6 inches, we're in 3 feet. So there's like an island right here almost, but the island goes all the way down that way. Normally this isn't even the rod I'm fishing a stick bait on. I'm usually fishing like a moving worm of some kind on this one. And my other reel that's faster reel and bigger rod is usually what I'm fishing my stick bait on, but the line's messed up on that one. But we haven't lost any fish today on the stick bait. Oh, there's something moving right there. I think we made something move, but not towards us. We made it scared and move away from us. Still, there's a fish there, but it would have been nice if it liked what we had. The sucker ran away. Okay, there's something moving right there. So one of the best ways to describe this island here is a small flat area. And so when the bass do decide to feed, they'll come up on these flats and bust on stuff. Now this flat is choked out in vegetation, but just on the outside of that edge, there are fish around it. I mean, there's fish everywhere, to be honest. Most people, because they're not catching fish, they think there's not fish nearby. There's fish nearby. You know, just got to figure out what to do to catch them. All right, sun just came out. We lost the shade we had from the clouds, and they were feeding while those clouds were in the way. So hopefully we can still get some bites, because I can see in the water a lot better, which means it's going to be harder for the bait fish to hunt. So they might stop. Oh, I left my water in the car. I'm an idiot. It's too hot out here to be leaving water in the car. Alright. Much as that flat has little bass around it, keep getting gunk on my bait, so I'm not casting over there. All right, so long cast, way out over there. I'm gonna let it sit there and wait till we get bit. Oh. Whew, this Florida heat is ridiculous. I might have to switch my stick bait. It's getting hung up on the grass quite a bit because the couple fish we've caught on it and the other bites we've had on it, it's a little beat up. But I'm gonna try to catch at least one more on this one. And I'm gonna move down to this little reed line right here. I think we'll catch some right there. All right. Whew. Florida heat is brutal. Oh my goodness. Bro, there's a big blow up out there in the middle of the lake just now. Bass tried to hit a dragonfly. This might be the sort of lake to come out on in the kayak and just paddle around, since my trolling. Man, it is hot out here. So we're fishing with the stick bait. It's the only thing that's working. I really wanted to test out my spinner bait rods, but they're just not biting the spinner bait. So try to keep catching them on the stick bait then. Oh, big old tilapia right in front of us. What's up, big fella? All right. I'm gonna go down the bank, because if there's a bunch of tilapias right here, we're in the wrong spot. Whew. All right, so I've never fished down over in this corner before, mainly because it's just so, there's a big old tilapia right there. Mainly because it's so shallow here, but I'm just now noticing that there's reeds around the whole thing. So if we catch a big one, we got to bring it through these reeds. It can be tough, but I stopped in a spot that doesn't have a ton of reeds and doesn't have reeds that are too tall. So I think we'll be all right fishing this spot. It's like the hardest way to fish, but I'm about to do it because I haven't been doing it and I probably need to do it, and that's just letting the bait sit there. I'll reel in my slack, but I'm just gonna let it sit there for like 30 seconds, you know, just let it sit there forever. The bite died off. We caught a few when they did bite, but the bites died off since then. And so, just gonna see if, honestly, we just gotta find a good spot to let this bait sit at. I wish I could see in this water better, because there's kind of grass everywhere. If I could find where there's a hole in the grass, let this sit down in that, I think we'd be in business. Right. It's just dead calm out here. I think stick bait's the only move. Whew. Man, this heat. I'm not built for this heat, obviously. Bryce, I don't. And that's not counting. And it's brutal. Oh my goodness. Huge bass just busted on that flat over there we were just at. Figures. And all of a sudden again, just got nibbled on that cast, but it was something really small, and it did rip my bait though, so I'm gonna have to change my bait, because I don't know, they seem to be picky biters. They won't bite your stuff sometimes when it's jacked up. And I don't know, we've been catching small ones. There are some big ones in here. If anyone's familiar with Florida bass fishing, you already know we got some big ones in pretty much every body of water. So there's definitely some big ones in here, because this is a lake. But we're not getting the big ones to bite. I was saying it earlier, but if there's contours, if there's deep, give it a cast. This bait isn't the most exciting to watch fish, because you just let it sit there most of the time. But it works when it's hot. And we are in Florida. like with the heat index over 100 degrees. So it's pretty brutal out here. Hoping to catch a few more before I go to the car and get some water. But I think we might. I've never fished down in this corner though, just because I've always caught them so well up over there. I never needed to come down here. But right now I'm not too confident down here. So we're not catching them. Oh, just got bit right there. Bro, these fish are just pecking me to death. There's a ton of bluegill in here, so those really small pecks might not be a bass. Pulled my dang hook out. I'm gonna bury this hook so we don't have to worry about them. If anyone has any questions, just comment below. I'll try to answer. I don't know if it's accurate. You're talking to one person. Could definitely be a tilapia, but you never know. Alright, so looks like we just got a few people join the stream. We are bank fishing. Caught a few bass, nothing huge, but we are bank fishing a lake, not a pond. And we're in Florida, so there are big ones in here. Honestly, it's the middle of the day, so it's kind of tough fishing for a lot of reasons. So it's kind of good that we've caught a few. But still, I would be lying if I didn't say I wish we were catching more. But when the heat gets like how it is right now, I mean, it can be pretty tough. It can be pretty tough fishing. The only time it's worse here in Florida is when the temperature drops. Like time it's worse than it is right now. But we're still catching fish. And honestly before. So we could catch a giant even though it's hot as heck out here. And we got cloud coverage in the moment, so we might start getting bit, hopefully. But I've had days in the summer where, you know, it's like with the heat index, it's like 110 degrees. It's just brutal. But fish a worm slow, a big bait slow, and dragging it across the bottom. Find a ledge, you know, like where it goes towards a deeper spot. And in those kind of areas, I've been out there all day, and I might get 2 bites all day long, but they'll be giants. So I'm trying to catch more fish than that. We've already caught a few fish, so I'm not fishing that exact way. So I'm trying to catch more fish, but I'm just saying that it is possible to catch a giant in these tough conditions. Alright, so the water in front of me doesn't have any ripples on it, but the water over there does. Just because the angle we got a breeze coming in at all of a sudden. Ooh, there's stuff moving right here. So the angle we got a breeze coming in makes me want to go down this bank and fish over there, because when there's ripples on the water, it can be a little easier to catch these fish. But then again, that wind has been changing directions all day, so I hope it stays true to what it's doing right now, because we're going down to this corner and we're going to give this area a shot where we got some ripples. Oh man, there's something big moving right there. Dude, that's probably not a bass, but it might be, because I actually see two things moving. I hope the bigger thing I saw move is a bass. Come on, be a bass. Be a bass. Be a bass and bite my bait. Alright, there's definitely something moving right there. So I don't know if that's a bass moving in front of those reeds. Could definitely be a tilapia. But a couple of the bass we caught today were when we saw something move. So we're going to keep casting at things when we see something move, because that's the only way we're really catching them, is with a stick bait and when we see movement, when they show themselves. Alright, but I am going down the bank over here. I think this will be a good spot. Everything has to be fished. We gotta try this area, that area. I've actually never fished down over here, so looking forward to catching one over here. Jeez. Oh yeah, there's bait fish right here. Heck yeah, that's a good sign. Some little shiny fish right here. And then we got ripples in the water out there. I don't know if y'all can really see. Yeah. Let me adjust this bad boy. Yeah. If I keep adjusting, y'all not gonna see me. So we're down in the corner of this lake. I've never fished down over here in this corner. Oh, there's a bass right here in front of me. Unbelievable. I don't know if it's still there, but dang, bass just splashed out of these reeds right here in front of me. I know this area is looking pretty promising. We got the ripples on the water. There's a bunch of bait fish in the water. And then I just seen a bass splash out of these reeds in this hydrilla right here. So I think we just moved to a better spot. We caught a few at the other end of the lake. Now we're down in the corner. All right, let's see if they're down here in this corner. Just got bit. Got him. Yep. This might be the bass that just came out of that grass, because the reeds are right here and there's a patch of hydrilla in front of it, and the hydrilla is going out this way. And so it looks like the hydrilla ends right there. So I was working this bait and then I kind of killed it right after that hydrilla. It was just hanging out down in front of that hydrilla. And could obviously be another bass, but might be that one. Definitely not a giant. It's actually, I think that's smaller than the other ones we caught, but it's another one. Third fish. Rawr. trying to think of more exciting things to do on the live stream. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the maybe the bass eating the camera is not one of them. So this was definitely a better spot than where we were at, because we just caught one right here. Just chucked them back in. And before that, it was kind of tough fishing. So, caught 3, and I've had a million just nibble my bait. And all of them have been when we're fishing either really slowly or dead sticking it, letting it kind of sit there. So, it's a tough bite. It's a tough bite today. And I think we're just going to have to keep fishing it slow like that. Oh, I just got nibbled. Dude, they're busting out there in the middle. Alright, that might be the same fish that just nibbled me. It was the same spot anyways. I'm gonna chuck it out there. Hopefully that's a bigger bass. There's like 5 or 6 bass that are just busting on stuff out in the middle out there. I might want to throw my spinner bait out there. But we've only been able to catch them on this, so I'll try working this bait first. Bro, there's a fish right in front of me. Is that a tilapia? Bro, I can't tell, but there's definitely a fish right in front of me. Bro, there's a fish right in front of me. Bro, there's a fish right in front of me. I think it's a tilapia, but I don't know. It's probably a tilapia. All right, let's get back to catching fish. Just surprised there's something right in front of me, you know. Oh, it's a tilapia. It just turned sideways. Yeah, I think the tilapia are spawning over here. Bro, something just swirled right here. That's where I just caught that fish. I wonder if these bass are busting on stuff right there. Alright, so we've been fishing an hour and a half and we have 3 fish. Not great, but it is like 100 degrees out here. And we're in the corner of a small lake. So I guess that's not bad with all things considered. But honestly, I'd rather catch a giant over a bunch of these small ones. Dude, that has to be a tilapia. That is a huge weight. I'm gonna cast over there just in case. Alright, I'm about to lower this so y'all can see me a little better. Alright. Got hung up on some grass for a second. About to say. Something moving out there, so. Something moving right here in front of us too. So as soon as we moved to the corner of this lake, we caught a fish. We've had a few little bites, and there's a lot of movement down here. I might want to move to the very corner of the corner, but I want to make a few more casts at least before we do that. But there's definitely some fish down over here. You just need to find that big one. Got some grass on the bait. All right, came off. Man, baits are breaking apart. So, got 3 bites. I think in 3 different spots. These bass are kind of spread out on this lake, and we haven't been able to catch the big ones yet, but they're in here. So I might switch this bait, or at least the color of the bait. So I prefer fishing with my black and blue with the neon blue tip. I wasn't fishing with that just because I didn't want to waste them. But I don't know, we're going through these ones pretty quick, so maybe I will switch it. So I got, but it's not working because it says my phone is near dead. So need to catch one more on the live stream at least. Bro, I just heard a big blow up down in that corner. We are definitely about to go over there. All right, let's move it to the corner where I just heard that bass blow up. Dang, almost dropped my dang cart. All right, let's catch one. So we got 3 bass caught. Not great, but it's crazy hot out here, so not too bad either. Just looking for that big one. Definitely movement out here. Just need them to bite. Come on now. Just gotta miss it. Yeah, there's something small messing with it. There's just tons of bait fish in here. These baits are just getting beat up. It's like a broken half. Oh man, that was a big one. Bass just hit right over there. I was about to say, I may call it a day, but they're gonna start biting right as I'm leaving just to tease me, and I guess I'm gonna stay. You know, we caught 3. We need the 4th one to be a giant, and I'm okay with that, if that's all we catch. Being that it's like 1,000 degrees out here. Keep walking out of the picture. Just. tough out here. It's a grind. Whew. Ay, ay, ay. It is hot. You need to catch a fish quick. All right, well, that's going to end the live stream. Appreciate y'all for watching. And we caught 3. And fish in here, though, panfish. So who knows how many of those bites were bass. But yeah, we caught 3 in about an hour and 40 minutes. So not great, not bad. It's 1,000 degrees out here. That's going to end the live stream. I got cotton mouth. I need to get to the car. I left my